As the international break commences, various Premier League stars head off to proudly represent their countries. In some cases, top players are left behind at this crucial stage of the season in order to keep them fresh for the upcoming decisive period, with Mohamed Salah incidentally being allowed leave from traveling to Egypt this month. Rarely, though, are these superstar players left behind as a result of simply not being required, and that's currently the case for Manchester City's Aymeric Laporte. Didier Deschamps has never previously shown much interest in the 24-year-old defender, even despite his rise since arriving in England. In December, the France boss was questioned about his decision, and he stated, "If you tell me he must be in Marseille centre-back Adil Rami's place, then I stop you right away." Sorry, but two left-footed defenders at centre-back at international level. We have a lot of left-footers and few right-footers. It's an interesting and thought-provoking response, as it suggested that the sole reason for his omission was relative to his preferred foot. Top players that are natural with their left are considerably scarce in comparison to right-footed talents, with City paying a premium price for such a commodity in January 2018. When asked about Laporte's ever-presence in the City defense earlier this season, Pep Guardiola stated, "It's so important to have a left-footed central defender. He helped us to make our build-up, and when the ball comes from the right, he immediately controls to the left and plays it to Leroy, that is quicker than we would play with a right-footer in that position." It's a somewhat unique trait, but perhaps that tag has caused Deschamps to shy away from the idea, as the concept of playing with two right-footed defenders is considered by many as common practice. The acceptance surrounding two right-footed defenders stems from the vast majority of players being right-footed, so in most cases, managers are almost forced into it, thus resulting in it being perceived as the norm. When assessing the current French squad, though, the centre-backs that have been selected ahead of Laporte are Kurt Zouma, Raphael Varane, Presnel Kimpembe, Zouma and Umtiti, and perhaps Benjamin Pavard, who's often used as a fullback by Deschamps. Of those listed, only Kimpembe and Umtiti are left-footed, and Rami, who was referenced as almost immovable in December, is no longer involved. Some of the defenders that have been called up deserve their inclusion, but in the case of Zouma and Kimpembe, for example, Laporte certainly has a legitimate case against their claims. This season, the City defender has accumulated 3,272 club minutes, which is the most under Pep Guardiola, despite the wealth of defensive talent at his disposal. In comparison, Kimpembe has amassed 2,206, and Zouma 2,294. This suggests that even despite playing for arguably the strongest side, Laporte has still played the most minutes, which offers an indication into his importance. Also, when delving into the underlying performance of the players in question, Laporte outperforms the two this season in various areas, including defensive duel success rate and virtually every passing metric. He makes double the through balls for 90, more passes to the final third and more forward passes. Interestingly too, Laporte's long pass length is considerably longer than the others, and his diagonal passing capability has been demonstrated consistently since he arrived in Manchester, shown below. In the graphic, Arsenal are evidently very compact and have closed off virtually the entire left side of the pitch. As a means of combating this, Laporte simply switches the play with a diagonal to the opposite side, and this is an effective means of breaking down a stubborn opponent, with France likely to face many of those. His traits appear undervalued, as although many players can play across the pitch, very few are able to do so with the level of execution that Laporte manages. Zouma, despite being right-footed, simply can't provide this, as he's relatively limited on the ball, and Kimpembe, despite being more proficient than Zouma, is not at Laporte's level in terms of impact when in possession. Ultimately, it appears as though Deschamps has followed the theme set by most, by underrating the quality and influence of City's no. 14. He's without doubt is defensively capable, but in addition, he's also considerably more useful with the ball, certainly than the likes of Zouma and Kimpembe. For City and Guardiola, however, it's little bother. The more rest he can receive ahead of what remains of a crucial season-defining period, the better.